statistics. So what is our understandings right now? Statistics is a science, am I right?
Yes.
Because the principles are going to work forever. That is why it is called a science. All right. If the variation is increasing, that simply means you are losing control on your average. Yes or no? Isn't it? If you can effectively control your average, then what happens? All the other points will also be very, very closer to the average. So certain principles are going to work forever. That's why we call it as a science. So it's a science of collecting, tabulating, visualizing, summarizing, and interpreting data to make effective decisions. This is known as statistics. Other way of and there is a small difference between statistics and then a statistic. I remove the S from the word statistics. Then it becomes what? Can you tell me?
Static means
Statistic.
constant.
Statistic is nothing but a calculated value using the data. You calculate average, you calculate range, you calculate anything, then that is known as a statistics, right? All right. Now statistics broadly there are two types. One is descriptive, another one is inferential. One is descriptive, another one is inferential. You can use numbers to understand what is currently happening in your process or what has already happened. If you use data to understand the present as well as the past, then your statistics is known as descriptive statistics. How much is your weight right now? What is your sugar level right now? What is your sugar level in the last 5 years? These are all called as descriptive statistics, isn't it? You are describing your experience. Last 5 years, my sugar level is like this. I can also use statistics to predict what will happen to my sugar level after 3 months from now. Do you understand? If I continue leading the same lifestyle, what will be my sugar level after 3 months from now, after 1 year from now? Will I become diabetic soon? Or am I going to have a good control over my sugar level? Right? Possible, right? If you use data to predict the future, then it is known as inferential statistics. All of you understand the difference?
Yes, sir.
Descriptive means you are just describing what you have seen, but what you have not seen, what is not known to you, you can predict that also with the help of data. Am I right? So you can use data for two purposes. One is to describe what is known. You can use data to predict what is unknown, maybe currently or even in the future. Do you understand what I'm speaking?
Yes, sir.
If you use data to describe the known things, then what kind of statistics it is?
Descriptive.
Very good. If you use data to predict something which is currently not known, people are not knowing about, now it is inferential. So this is inferential statistics is used widely in all business. So you have to be very good at inferential statistics because you are involved in a lot of decision making, isn't it? So your company might expect you to predict the future. What will be our sales next quarter? Have we discussed this? That means you have to predict, the kind of sales you are going to achieve in the next 3 months. But all that you currently have is, last 5 year sales data. With the help of the last 5 year sales data, will you be able to predict the next quarter, the sales value in the next quarter?
Yes.
That is
Yes,
called
sir.
the forecasting, right?
Yes,
Forecasting.
yes, sir.
Yeah, that's called forecasting. That means that's an inferential statistics. Your prediction may not be very accurate. It is very, very difficult to predict very accurately. All of you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But we will try our best to predict an interval at least, not a single point, isn't it? Predicting a single point is difficult. What will be the exact sales we are going to achieve and nobody can tell. God only knows. But
But
we
the trend can be there.
as a Six Sigma expert, Six Sigma belt, using the statistics, we will predict the interval. Sir, our sales will be somewhere between 3 to 3.5 crores. All right. So this is called confidence interval. RK was teaching you 1.96, isn't it? Confidence interval. So you all know Virat Kohli, right?
Yes, sir.
Virat Kohli, the Indian team captain. So he plays very well in one-day internationals. What is his batting average in one-day international? Anybody?
Around 50 plus.
Around?
50 plus.
Okay. Let us say 50. Let us take it 50. His batting average itself is 50. Such a consistent player. The average itself is strong, isn't it? But
In isolation,
what
not-
will be his batting average in the upcoming World Cup tournament? I think in October the World Cup is starting, right?
Yeah. 50
So
plus
now-
minus.
50 plus minus. So if the amount, the plus minus is known as margin of error. The plus minus is known as margin of error. You want more error or you want less error?
Less error.
Less error.
Less.
That means your interval has to be narrower. If the interval is narrower, then your quality of decision is very high. Isn't it? If I say, sir, Virat Kohli will score 50 plus or minus 40 and nobody will like your prediction. What is this here? You are predicting 10 runs, even a tail ender will score 10 runs. So 50 plus or minus 5. Yeah, that's a good prediction. Right? So now 50 plus or minus 5. When I say 50 plus or minus 5, my upper limit is 55. My lower limit is
45.
45.
45.
The 45 is known as 45 is known as lower confidence limit. 55 is known as upper confidence limit. 45 is known as lower confidence limit. 55 is known as upper confidence limit. In order to find out the upper confidence limit and the lower confidence limit, you need Z score. Why Z score is required? To find out the upper confidence limit and the lower confidence limit. You also need some knowledge on the normal distribution. You also need to have a thorough understanding on standard normal distribution. For Virat Kohli's prediction, like in the batting average, we now discussed and we understood 50 plus or minus some value. Similarly, you have a similar discussion for your business also, because you are never going to be involved in sports analytics. But are there analytics involved in your business also? Required?
Yes. Yes.
But one common thing between sports and your business is data. Am I right?
Yes.
Finally, it is data. From sports also data has come. From your business also data is going to come. But
Yes,
where
yes.
from the data comes? Data comes from your process. Right?
Yes.
The data, if the process is good, that will reflect in your data. If your data is actually has come from a good process, then the statistics will be good. Isn't it? So just by looking at certain statistics, we can understand whether our process is performing well or no, or not performing well. This is called decision making using statistics. So with this idea, we are now going to understand what is Six Sigma. What's exactly Six Sigma, right? Using statistics. Already you all know one meaning of Six Sigma. You know what is that meaning? The DPMO should be lesser than 3.4. Am I right? All
Defect.
practiced. But DPMO, when can you use the tool DPMO? When your data type is discrete. Yes or no? Am I right? When can you go for calculating the DPMO? Only for countable information, isn't it? Defects. If the information is not countable, it is measurable, then you have to go for other methods, other tools. One is known as Sigma level. Another one is known as CP and CPK. Anybody using the tool CP and CPK in your workplace?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the situation for going to the CP CPK usage is data must be continuous. So now we are going to understand the practical meaning of Six Sigma. Once you understand this, you will feel much more comfortable to work in any company, because ultimately what is common in all the company? Data is common.
Data.
My health problem can appear in data. My batting performance can appear in data. My product quality problems can appear in data. My sales performance can appear in data, isn't it? Once you realize data is common in all industries, you can literally work in any company. I'm sure none of you are going to work in the in the very down level. No, you're all going to work in a managerial level only. So your job is to deal with the data and then make more effective decision. Clear? Your job is to use data and then make good decision. And then you will definitely be appreciated. You will definitely be promoted. So nothing wrong in learning statistics, even if you don't like it, right? Many of you told, no, sir, I don't like statistics, but
So it
statistics
is
is
not
what?
about liking, sir. It is little tough to understand.
Yes. Oh, so very good. So that's nice. If you like it, yes, that's what I wanted. So in order to understand Sigma level, there are certain terminologies which has to be very clear. Specification limit comes from customer. Control limit comes from process. And then some basic statistics, and then the difference between 3 sigma and 6 sigma, and then what is sigma and then sigma level, and finally what is the benefit, right? So all of you, I want to be very participative, and I want you to turn off all your other devices on the other side. Very frequently I could hear, some other noises and your background noise. Please ensure you are not getting disturbed, and otherwise, no, it will be difficult for you. Imagine you want to design a process. Do you want to design it in a challenging manner, or do you want to make it easy to manage? What is your
Easy to
challenge?
manage. Easy to manage.
Yeah,
Easy to manage.
it's easy to manage, right? So now let me play a video here, and you can tell me whether this is easy to manage or challenging.
Easy to manage.
Easy to
Easier.
manage, right?
Easier.
How it has become easy to manage now? Because now the elephant looks smaller in front of the tub, isn't it?
Yes.
Imagine there is an entry door in your house. You want to enter your house.
Yeah.
You have to be smaller than the door size, isn't it? If the door size is smaller than you, then you can't enter. It will become challenging for you, isn't it? This is what we are trying to understand. A process which is smaller in comparison to the customer provided tolerance is considered to have a higher capability. A process that is bigger or wider than the customer tolerance is considered to have a poor capability. That means rejections, failures, customer complaints has to happen. All of you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now moving on to another scenario. So you can design your process in a challenging manner and struggle. You can also design your process in an extraordinarily capable manner and enjoy pleasure all the time, making more and more profit. Because you are the one who is designing the process, isn't it? That's why you are called a manager. So make proper changes, and then, in the process, and make it easily manageable. And now similar example. Imagine now you have to drive a car in a road, or park your car in your house. Now your car size must be smaller than the parking area, isn't it? Same logic is applicable again. If your car is bigger than the parking area, will you be able to park your car?
No.
No.
If you still try to park your car has to get damaged. Same
Sir-
thing is applicable. Yes.
Sir, but by default, if whenever we are designing a process, we by default want to make it easy to manage, least challenging, or easy for anybody to be onboarded and to
Very true.
deploy and work. But
Very,
then
very
in the real time, we end up or we don't anticipate so many variations coming in, and then it becomes challenging, or the technology changes. So initially it is a the way it is initially designed would probably be easy to manage, but then later on things happen.
That
So
means, see, if you design your process in an effective manner, it will remain capable even in the long term, right?
okay.
So the long-term variation should also be taken into consideration while designing any process. And otherwise, what happened at the time of designing, at the time of launching, everything will look good. But in real time, as it runs, there are many factors which are not considered during the design will now come and play, and making your process lose the capability. And that's why we have two types of capability: short-term capability, and another one is long-term capability. If you are really proactive, if you are able to think in terms of long term, considering the future challenges, then what happen? Your process will not only capable in short term, but also be capable in long term. Today you are able to lead a very good lifestyle. Your earnings are quite sufficient for the expenses you incur. You very well know your expenses are not going to be same in the future, isn't it? That's why you are
Definitely.
having a savings also,
Yes, sir.
right? And that means you are thinking about your future also. But if you miss out on this while designing a process, you have to face problems. Those of you who are not making a saving, you are spending everything you are earning. Yes, there is a good chance of experiencing struggle in the near future on an emergency. Yes or no?
Yes.
So, sir,
That is
the
that is what you should do in your process also, if you want to be capable in both short term as well as long term.
so the model should be scalable.
Yes. All right. So now you look at the diagram and tell me which is a better car here. The last one, isn't it?
Last one, sir.
Yeah. The car is much smaller. If the more the smaller the car is, the easier it is to park it. Now your parking area has got a fixed size. You can't change it. Isn't it? Similarly, your car has got a fixed size. You can't change it. Suppose if you make a mistake while driving the car, while parking the car, which part of the car you think will get damaged first?
Mirror.
Yeah,
Mirror.
the side mirror on the right side or the side mirror on the left side. These are called the extreme edges in your car. Am I right? Most of the time while driving the car, we ensure the side mirror is not damaged, isn't it? That means the entire car is safe.
Yes, sir.
So in statistics or in a process, we call them as process control limits. In a process perspective, we call them as control limit. What is a control limit? The extreme output. If you take measures to take care of the extreme products, then that means you are taking care of everything, isn't it? If I make the last bencher understand what I am teaching, that means I am ensuring everyone is understanding, isn't it?
Yes.
Correct. So this point is known as control limit. The right side it is upper control limit, the left side it is lower control limit. If I drive the car in a way that my both upper control limits are safe, that means I am driving safely. I'm a good driver, isn't it? So now the parking area has got a wall. The right side there is a limit, left side also there is a limit. These are known as specification limits provided by the customer. You don't have the opportunity or the chance to change it. Agreed?
Yes.
In any business, you can't change customer limits because it is decided by the customer. Because of that only they came to you. So this is specification limit. This is known as upper specification limit. This is known as lower specification limit. Then what is this? Upper control limit. This is known as lower control limit. If you plot a histogram, you will be able to judge on the control limits. Am I right? If I plot a histogram, I can have some idea about what is the extreme cases, what are the extreme cases on the right, on the left. Am I right or not? Right or wrong?
Yes, sir. Yes,
If
sir.
I conduct an exam and if I plot a histogram with all your marks, will I be able to understand the maximum mark and the minimum mark?
Sir.
Yeah. If the minimum mark itself is more than 60, what does it mean? All of you are now qualified for the certification, isn't it?
No.
All right. This is what you need to ensure in your business also. If you are able to take care of the control limits, if you make all your products, services happening at the control limits are acceptable by your customer, it simply means everything is acceptable by your customer. Literally, you can raise the invoice for everything you are doing, or every product, every unit, single unit you produce, you can raise the invoice. For that, the condition to be fulfilled is the control limit should appear inside the specification limit.
In short, the process should be lean.
Yeah, your whole process should operate inside the tolerance given by the customer. Your whole body should comfortably go through the entry door in your house. That's how you designed your house, isn't it? Anybody?
Will it be
Yeah.
will it be right to say the process control limit should occur in the confidence level for
No.
Six Sigma?
See, later on you compare, right? But right now all are different. Specification limit is given by the customer.
Okay.
Control limit is calculated from the process.
Yes.
Confidence limits we calculate for the average, or we calculate for any statistics, because every single time you predict something, you can't predict single value. That's very difficult. So we always predict an interval. That's called the confidence limits. We'll come to that slowly. So now we are talking about the example of designing your entry door in your house. While designing your entry door in your house, have you considered the long-term requirement also?
Yes.
Sometimes you want to shift your entire house. That time you should not, feel that item cannot go or item cannot come in, isn't it? So
Yes, we will
both
consider.
short-term requirement, long-term requirement, all of them are taken into consideration. And minimum we keep, how many feet we keep in a main door? Height should be at least 7 feet.
6.
Yeah, 7 feet.
And width?
4 to 5 feet.
3.5
to
to
5
4
feet.
4 feet.
3.5, the lesser it is, the more challenging it will be for you. So we make it 4 by 7. So now literally any item that you order from Amazon or Flipkart, that will comfortably come inside your house. The process remains capable forever. This is called Six Sigma thinking. So you should be able to think in the same manner for every scenario in your workplace. Possible or not?
Yes.
Specification limit, control limit.
Yes, possible.
You just check what is the specification limit, what is the control limit. For door size also we defined control limit and specification limit. Control limit is decided by the process. What is the process? The items you order in Amazon or Flipkart. Isn't it? We very well know always whenever we order an item, the maximum width of the item is 3 feet only. The minimum width can be as low as half a feet. So the spread is understood. Even the extreme cases are comfortably going inside. That means everything is coming inside, no problem. Now my process is capable. My decision is perfect. And now imagine an aircraft landing the runway. That is also a process. Now the aircraft has to land in the runway, like the main door in your house. Now it is the runway. Now is there limits in the runway? Can you see white color line? This line and this line?
Yes.
You want to land your aircraft within this line, isn't it?
Yes.
That means this is upper specification limit. This is lower specification limit. In our training program also, we want all of you to score at least 60 mark. What is the lower specification limit? 60. Upper specification limit 100. That's all. So any scenario, if you think properly, you will be able to find out the specification limit. Now the pilot is landing the aircraft. Some of the landing points I have marked on the ground. Can you see? On the runway.
Yes.
All these, X represent the landing points. Now I am collecting, because always in order to understand, what's happening statistically, you need some minimum data. Some sufficient amount of data is required. So I go for some more collection of the data, some more landing points. Some more landing points, some more landing points, some more landing points. After sufficient number of data collected, I could see a unique shape or a unique way in which my data is distributed. Can you see here?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes.
natural process will exhibit this characteristics. If you collect your body, if you measure your body weight continuously for 100 days, and if you plot a histogram, you will see a bell shape. Please try this, all of you. How many days you should collect your body weight to measure your body weight? 100 days. 100 days you measure your weight and then plot a histogram. You will see a bell shape. 100 days you measure your sugar level. That will also appear in the form of a bell shape, your histogram. All of you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
If you measure your weight 100 days, then your body average weight, the average weight will be, your average weight will be, let's say somewhere around 72 kg. All right. And some days your weight should have been, let's say 78 kg. 78 kg. And sometimes what happened, your weight might have fallen down to 69. Is there a possibility to have your weight varying from 69 to 72 over 100 days? Come on, yeah, all of you. I am trying to make the statistics easier for you. Your weight can vary from 69 kg to 72 kg.
Yes.
Yes.
Plus 1 or
Yes.
minus.
Yeah. Okay,
69.
some value. Yeah, 69 to 75, I said that. Yeah. Your average is 72, and some particular day, your weight has gone as low as 69. I don't know, you may be in, fasting on the day. Isn't it? But some days your weight can go up to 75. So the variation, your control limits are 69 and 75. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So similarly, you are seeing here, the pilot has landed the aircraft in this manner. Now, where is the control limit? Are you able to see the control limit here?
Yes, sir. And the yellow line, sir.
2 white lines on either side.
And the white.
You are saying you are referring this line?
Specification.
Two lines,
that's a
two lines.
specification.
Two line, both sides, two lines are there.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Very
On the
good.
yellow.
I agree with you. Yeah. The yellow curve is drawn. Now you are going to the extreme and then you are saying that is control limit. Very good. But right now, let us use the point. Now the extreme point is here, right? Right side extreme. This is extreme output from the process on the right side. This is extreme output from the process on the left side. I am going to consider them as, let me show you. This is upper control limit. This is lower control limit. The blue color arrow is indicating the upper control limit and lower control limit. Then what is this center line indicated in the runway?
Average. Median.
Yeah, this is actually the target. The more safest point in the runway is center line, isn't it?
Center line. Yes, sir. Yes.
You must try to get your process average exactly on the center line. You must try to get your process average exactly on the center line. That means the customer target and the pilot target are same.
Yes.
If the average is not happening on the dotted line, pilot has wrongly understood the customer requirement. All customers want to be safe during landing, isn't it?
Yes,
So
sir.
pilot should also try to land the aircraft in the center, not somewhere here. If he has a tendency to always land on the right side of the center line, sometimes he might end up landing here. To avoid that, the target should be here. That's the thing. So this is, what is this line? The runway is ending. This is called
Specification.
the specification. Very good. So customer target, and this is process average, and this is upper specification, this is lower specification, this is upper control limit, this is lower control limit. The purpose of using histogram, the purpose of visualizing the normal distribution is to understand where are our control limits. If our control limits are safe, almost everything is safe. Clear?
Yes.
You have learned certain things. Customer target and process average must align, must overlap. We want the process average and customer target to overlap. And we want the variation to be very, very minimal. If the variations are minimal, all the landing points will be closer to the center line. That is creating a very good scenario, isn't it?
Mm.
And then customer limits are known as specification limits. Whenever you produce an output outside the specification, this is definitely a failure. And the failure is called as external failure because customer himself can find out the problem in your product.
Mm.
Process will always have a limit, control limit, upper control limit and lower control limit. If you know your control limit, if you have a very good understanding about your process, then you will have a clarity on your control limit. If I ask you about how your children are studying in a mathematics subject, you will tell me exactly, isn't it, sir? My son always score between 80 to 85. What is that 80 to 85? Control limit for your child's performance in the mathematics. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you have a clarity, if you have properly understood your process, obviously you will have an idea about control limit, right? So control limits, suppose if your son in the next examination, normally what is the range in which he scores mathematics, he score in the mathematics? 80 to 85. Let's say next exam, your son has scored only 65. Will you not be worried? You will definitely be worried. You will not say, sir, it is a pass mark. I know it's a pass mark, but normally your son will score between 80 to 85, isn't it? Even though it is a pass mark, even though teacher is not worrying about it, you will certainly worry. Similarly, if you see any observation outside the control limit, that's a strong signal that something is going wrong. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Such a time, you should be able to take right action instead of just keeping quiet.
Not
Right?
wait until the specification limit to be breached.
See,
We should not wait.
Specification limit is, pass mark is 50 only. Your son has got 65. But even then you are worried because normally your son will be scoring between 80 to 85. That's not happening in this exam.
Yes, sir. I tell that you should not wait until the specification limit to be breached.
Yeah,
should be
exactly.
aware.
Correct. Exactly. You don't have to wait till, a failure becomes very obvious. You can be proactive rather than reactive. That is the knowledge now you are gaining here, right? By understanding the control limit, right? Every single time you see an observation going outside the control limit, you can understand something wrong is going to happen in a big way very soon. All of you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Even before others can predict the failure, you can predict and then take action. Now your organization will start seeing you as an asset. Right? They will try to retain you because you are the one, you are safeguarding your, organization from facing several failure. So now another, one more simple example. You all might have played this game of, shooting the balloon. You need a gun, right?
Yes.
Now I want you to shoot the balloon at the center. What is the color of the balloon at the center?
Red.
Red color. So exactly this red color balloon you should shoot. I am giving you a big barrel, a gun with a big barrel. Now the first thing what you should do, you should hold the gun in a correct position. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
If you don't even know how to hold a gun, I can't expect result. If you don't even know how to hold a gun, I can't expect result from you. This is what we all are checking by looking at the average. If the average itself is not on the target, it simply means you don't even know how to hold a gun. All of you get my point? I told you average should always overlap with the target, isn't it? If you want to shoot the target, your gun should align with the target. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now look at my gun. Is it aligning with the target?
Yes.
This is what we are checking. Average always on the target. Whenever you see average away from the target, what does it mean? You don't
Reaching
know.
the control limit.
You are not able to, you are not even holding the gun correctly. You can't expect result. All right. And now you are releasing the bullet. Now the bullet hits the target. Again you are releasing again and again and again and again. Every single time it hits exactly the same balloon at the same point. But this is an ideal scenario, isn't it? In real time, if I give you a gun you may hit the target, but at different points. Am I right? That means variation is always possible. As long as the variation is minimum, all your bullet will fall on the balloon. Am I right? If the variations are very, very minimal, you release 10 bullets, all 10 bullets will fall somewhere on the red color balloon. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
But if you lose control, the bullets will start hitting the balloons in the first circle. Am I right?
Yes.
If you
Yes.
lose the control further, now your bullets will start hitting the balloons in the second circle.
Yes.
If you lose the control further, now your bullets will start hitting the balloons in the third circle.
Yes, sir.
If you further lose control, now you will start shooting the audience. You have become completely unprofessional. Whenever we see an output outside the control limit, it is as good as we becoming completely unprofessional. Agreed?
Yes.
That is why you all must react. If whenever you see an observation outside control limit, you have to take action. In control chart, you are checking only that only, whether the observation is coming outside the control limit or not, isn't it? In control chart, the two lines are nothing but control limit, upper control limit and lower control limit. Please note the distance of the first circle from the center, that is called standard deviation. That is called 1 standard deviation. Now the third circle is at a distance of 3 standard deviation.
3 standard deviation.
Your control limit will be at a distance of 3 standard deviation away from the center. Whenever you see an observation beyond 3 standard deviation away from the center, it means you have lost the control completely. Something very wrong is going to happen. All of you understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So now with the help of some statistical idea, we are going to redefine quality. Now the redefined definition of quality is a function of two statistics. One is average, another one is standard deviation. Do you get my point? One is average, another one is standard deviation. Average should be on the target. Standard deviation should be as small as possible. Standard deviation should be as small as possible and average should be on the target. Now the quality of product, what you offer is really world class. You understand the definition of world class?
Yes, sir.
Average is on the target and variation is
Variation
very,
of
very
region.
minimal. So hold the gun correctly and hit the target consistently. Any job you are doing, just correlate with this example. Your average should be on the target and you should be able to consistently hit the target. For consistency, we look at standard deviation. Whether we are holding the gun correctly or not, we look at the average. Always, any biological data or data from any natural process will follow normality. Your body weight is an outcome of a natural process, isn't it? Your sugar level, it happens on its own, isn't it? I'm not injecting sugar or glucose and then testing, isn't it? Normally, every day, what is the sugar level? I'm just checking. So all these kind of data, your cholesterol level, sugar level, your BP level, your height, your weight, all of them are known as biological data. Same manner, all the CTQs in your product, all the CTQs in your service are the biological data of your product and service. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes or no? So
Yes.
all the biological data of your product and service will also follow the bell curve, bell pattern. If bell pattern is not following, that means either the data quality is poor, either the data quality, data collection, you have not understood the science behind the data collection. Isn't it? I told you if it is a weight, you must collect data for 100 days. 100 data is required to see the bell shape. If you simply collect the 3 data point, and then if you come back and tell me, sir, where is the bell? You can't see the bell, right? So either the data quality is bad or your process is under the influence of some external factors. Do you understand my language? Whenever you are not getting the bell, it simply means either the data collection is poor, that means data quality is poor because measurement error, lot of measurement error, or people don't know how to collect data. That's why you are not, seeing the normality, or data collected is not sufficient. Another reason is your process is under the influence of some external force. Let's say for Diwali, the sales suddenly becomes, very high. Your normal sales cannot give such a output, isn't it? But Diwali time, Diwali offer, the sales can go and triple the amount. Yes or no? But you can't have Diwali on every single day. So that means sometimes if your process is under the influence of external force, then the results can be abnormal. But in all other time, all your results should be inside the control limit only. Agreed?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
So
yes,
now
right.
this is the bell curve you are seeing. Always in a bell curve, the center will be the average.
Average. Correct.
The extreme output is known as control limit. So I draw three lines. One line at 1 sigma, 1 standard deviation away from the center. That is 1 sigma line. And now 2 sigma away from the center. That is 2 sigma line. And another line 3 sigma away from the center. That is known as 3 sigma line, also known as control limit. Upper control limit is here. Lower control limit is here. Now the 2 sigma line is known as warning limit. What is the name of the 2 sigma line? Warning limit. And this line is 1 sigma line. Now if after drawing this line, now imagine you have an x-axis, you have the bell curve. Can you see bell curve on the x-axis?
Yes,
Can
sir.
you also see the area that is available between the bell curve and the x-axis? Can you see, all of you? The area
Sir.
between the curve and the x-axis. That area is nothing but your data. That area represents your data. That area represents your products. That area represents your service. That area represents your performance. So now imagine the total area is 100%. Total area is assumed to be how much? In terms of percentage, it is 100.
100%.
Now, out of the 100% of the area, 68% of the area is closer to the average. Can you see it in blue color?
Yes.
68.27% of the area is seen inside the 1 sigma line. If I measure the area from 1 sigma to 2 sigma, how much it is? 13.6. 13.6 means in comparison to the total area. Similarly, left side also 13.6. Now the last extreme, 2 sigma to 3 sigma. How much is the area? 2.1%.
2.1.
Here also 2.1%. Does it look logical? Now the numbers are written here. 68.27% of the area is seen inside 1 sigma line or 1 sigma limit. And from 1 sigma line to 2 sigma line, the area is 13.6. From 2 sigma line to 3 sigma line to 3 sigma line, the area is just 2.1%. So now I understand one thing. The blue color area is 68.27. The blue color area plus the brown color area is 95.45. Blue color area plus brown color area plus green color area is 99.73. What is now unknown to me is the rest, which is just 0.27%. The total is 100%. Am I right?
Yes.
That
Totally is
means
100.
in a bell curve, 68.27% of the data points are expected to fall inside 1 sigma limit. 95.45% of the points are expected to fall inside 2 sigma limit. 99.73% of the points are expected to fall inside 3 sigma limit. Very, very important property of bell curve or normal distribution. What is the property? 68.27 will lie inside 1 sigma limit. 95.45% will lie inside 2 sigma limit, also known as warning limit. What percentage of the points will lie inside 3 sigma limit or control limit? Come on, tell me, what is the percentage?
0.1.
What percentage of the points will fall inside control limit?
99.7.
9.73.
99%.
You must remember this always. Even if I ask you in the midnight to 1 p.m., you should be able to tell the values correctly. 68.27, 95.45, 99.73. Take a big printout and then paste it in your hall. This number you must remember if you want to master statistics. Okay. Always in normal yeah.
In the defined phase as well.
Yes. Come again. Ask your question.
No. There was a question around this in the defined phase. There was a questionnaire which was shared with us. There is a query. What is the data that falls within 1 sigma and 2 sigma? So
Question. Yeah. This is because this is basics. You're right. So
Okay.
now you should be able to answer this. Yeah. So in a normal distribution curve, the mean, median, and mode will be equal. You all know mean, average. Do you all know what is mode?
The highest occurred frequency.
Highest
Repetitive number.
Repeated
Yeah.
number
the
frequency.
most frequently occurred number. Median means the number at the center. The number at the center after arranging the data in ascending or descending order. All of them will be same in a normal distribution. And are you able to understand the second property? The curve is symmetric at the center. And now if it is symmetric, exactly half of the value you can see to the left of the center line. Exactly half of the value you can see to the right of the center line. The total area under the curve is 100%. In terms of percentage, we call it 100. In terms of probability, the total probability is 1. The total probability is 1. In terms of count, if you imagine, if there are 1 million units you produce, then the total count of products under the bell curve is 1 million. Total count of products under the bell curve is 1 million. All right. The total area under the curve can be 1 million, or in terms of probability, it is 1. In terms of percentage, it is 100%. If I say percentage, 50% to the right of the center, can you see 50% to the left of the center? 50-50? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
In terms of probability, total probability is 1.
Yes.
Do you know that total maximum probability is 1, isn't it?
Yes. Correct.
When I say probability is equal to 1, that means that will definitely happen. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So 0.5 on the right side, 0.5 on the left side. The 0.5 is divided in this manner: 0.3, 0.13, 0.02, and something like that. Totally, it is 0.5 on the right side, 0.5 on the left side. If I produce 1 million parts, 500,000 parts will be to the right of the average. You can check all of this after producing 1 million parts. You collect the data, and then you will see half of your parts slide above the average. Half of your parts will be below the average. Yes or no?
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
after writing any exam also, you can see that. Calculate the average. Approximately half of you will be scored above the average. Half of you would have scored below the average. You can check. These are all properties of normal distribution, right? So now that you have understood all the properties, am I right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think now it is your break time, right? So let us have a short tea break and then we can continue. So far good? Thank you for reminding. Okay. If control limits stay inside specification limit, the process is considered capable or not capable?
Capable.
Capable, right? Specification limits are provided by customer. Control limits are calculated
Process.
process. Very good. Now we are going to process capability. What is Six Sigma? So Six Sigma is a methodology to reduce the defects by reducing the variation so that we can improve our performance on a particular CTQ. CTQ wise, you have to calculate sigma level, right? We solve problem one at a time. We fix CTQ one at a time. And such projects are known as Six Sigma projects. Let us take an example of a car rental service or a cab service like Ola or Uber. Every time you book a car, the car must come within the specified time, isn't it? The app itself will tell car will come in 30 minutes. That means within 30 minutes, car must actually come. So what is the CTQ here? Whether the car is arriving within the time or not. So that is the time is, we can call it as a car arrival time or whatever. So now imagine a situation where customer expects a car to arrive within 30 minutes. If it is within 30 minutes, what is the upper specification? 30. So lower specification?
0.
So 0 is the lower spec, 30 is the upper spec. But here I have some slight assumption. Because within 0 minutes, car arrival is practically impossible, right? So I give a small time, 10 minutes. So if the car arrives between 10 minutes and 30 minutes, it is absolutely okay. If it arrives more than 30 minutes, then the customer is given a chance to even cancel the booking without any penalty. Now the car driver will lose something, right? So that's the idea. So lower spec is 10 here, upper spec is 30 here. And the process capability is the process should be able to always produce results between the specification limits. Then the process is considered capable, right? It should happen forever. That is the idea. Now the customer requirement is visualized. You can see here, upper spec 30, lower spec is 10, upper spec, 30, lower spec is 10. That means the targeted output is 20. So customer target is 20, upper spec is 30, lower spec is 10. This is customer requirement visualized. Now the distance between upper spec and lower spec is known as specification width. How much is the specification width here?
20. 30 minus 10, 20.
30 and 10, 20 minutes. Because we have written as lower spec as 10, upper spec as 30. So the difference is considered as 20. Now this is the customer provided tolerance. Now, how is your process operating? How do you know how is your process operating? You must collect data, right? So your car performance data is available. You know, the OTP system is used to understand, at what moment exactly car has arrived. So that your data can be more accurate, isn't it? So now, with the help of a histogram, we understand your process is performing like this. So most of the time, you can see your car is arriving between 10 minutes and 30 minutes. Can you see here in the histogram itself?
Yes.
Your expectation is also car must arrive between 10 and 30, and reality is also almost the same. Now you calculate the process average. Process average is found to be 20. Customer target is also expected to be, customer target is also 20. Process average also 20. Is it good for your process?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Really good. We want the we want the process average to be on the target. Now that is happening. And now upper control limit. In order to calculate the upper control limit, you should calculate the standard deviation using the same data. So standard deviation is calculated to be 3.33. So upper control limit is found to be 30. Can you see here? What is the formula for upper control limit?
Plus 3 sigma.
Average
plus 6 sigma.
Average plus 3 sigma. What is the formula for lower control limit?
Average minus 3 sigma.
Very good. Average minus 3 sigma. So with the help of the formula, upper control limit is found to be 30, lower control limit is found to be 10. Now, whether my process is capable or not,
Yes.
I am overlapping. I overlap specification limit and the control limit. Now I could see my control limits are perfectly overlapping with specification limit. Can you see that?
Yes.
And now my process, is it capable or not? Just capable.
Yes.
Your process just made it. Am I right? Your process just made it. Which again means 99.73% of the time, car arrives the customer place between 10 minutes and 30 minutes. Right? 99.73% of the time. But rest of the time, car may arrive so early or car may arrive late also.
Yeah.
The rest of the time is just 0.27% of the time. But 99.73% of the time, your car is arriving within the expected range. That's a good scenario. And this is called just capable process. This is called just capable process. In terms of sigma level, the process is known as 3 sigma process. In terms of sigma level, the process is known as 3 sigma process. Why do we call it as 3 sigma process? Please see here. The process center is here. Am I right? The green color line is the process center. Where is the specification? Specification is here. The distance between the specification and the process center is equal to 3 sigma. Am I right?
Yes.
Actually, distance wise, it is 10. Distance wise, it is 10. But in terms of number of standard deviation is 1, 2, 3. The number of standard deviation that exists between your process center and the nearest specification is known as G-score. Do you understand G-score here? What is the G-score at this point? What is the G-score here?
3
sigma.
No, look at my cursor and tell me what is the G-score?
1.
That means now my pointer is 1 standard deviation away from the center. That means G-score is 1. When I come here, what is my G-score now? 2. Now I am 2 standard deviation away from the center. Now I am 3 standard deviation away from the center.
Right.
All right. So you now got some idea about G-score here. Very good. Now this process, we call it as 3 sigma process because my G-score is 3. What is the definition of G-score? The distance between the process center and the nearest spec. That is equal to G-score of 3. So the process is known as 3 sigma process. Now tell me, have you designed your process in a challenging manner or in a easy to manage manner? In the beginning, I have shown a video, isn't it?
This
Elephant
comfortable process.
Oh, this is comfortable. Your elephant and tub are equal size. Your door and your size are same in your house. Will you comfortably enter every day?
Little scratches.
It is just capable process.
There will be scratches on your shoulder every time you go out, isn't it? It's okay for you.
No.
No, sir.
You would like to have a bigger door, or otherwise you will try to reduce your size. So now there is a clear understanding. Your process should now, variation must be further reduced. Because there is a chances of scratch, which we don't want to see, isn't it? So that is the limitation with the 3 sigma. So in 3 sigma process, there are failures expected. The success rate is 99.73. Am I right? But failure rate is 0.27. 0.27, of which half of the failure can happen on the right side, half of the failure can happen on the left side. Like how your right side shoulder is, getting the problem, the same way the left side shoulder also, right? There can be scratches on both sides. So 3 sigma capability is not sufficient. Now I want to give this process a nickname. The nickname is elephant process. Your process is looking like an elephant because your process is bigger now. It's not smaller the way it is wanted. So I give it a nickname, elephant process. Now the problem with elephant process or problem with the 3 sigma process is in a long run, what will happen? Your process has the tendency to lose its existing capability. All of you agree with me?
Yes, agree.
In the long run, the tendency is to lose the capability, wear and tear, variations at the input, and factors that are not understood at the time of designing the process. All of this will start playing in the long run. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes.
at
Yes,
present, the failure is only here, the red color region. But in the future, your process can shift either to the right side or to the left side. We don't know. Some factor can pull your process, isn't it? So now the failure is, since the process is pulled to the right side, control limit also will stretch out. And now the failure is much more than what is anticipated. What is expected is this much, but the reality is this much. All of you now, do you understand why the expectation is not happening? Why the rejections are more? It is because of the ununderstood factor affecting your process, or some of the factors which are already understood are now in poor control, isn't it? So all of this can amplify your failure rate. Failure rate is no more 0.27%. Now it is more than 10%.
More than 10%.
10%.
That's why 3 sigma capability is not sufficient. If you say, sir, it is short term, okay, I will agree. 3 sigma is enough. But in long term, a 3 sigma cap process will act as a process with much lesser capability. A 2 sigma process will have a success rate of 95.45. That's what we learned, isn't it? What is the success rate of 3 sigma process? 99.73.
29%.
2 sigma process, 95.45. 1 sigma process, 68.27. So in terms of percentage also, you can define 6 sigma or the process capability. If your success rate is 99.73, that means your process sigma level is 3. If the success rate is 95.45, what is the sigma level? 2. If the success rate is 68.27, what is the sigma level?
3 sigma.
1 sigma.
1 sigma.
Plus or minus 1 sigma 68.27. Plus or minus 2 sigma 95.45.
95.
Plus or minus 3 sigma 99.7.
97.
Now you are seeing perfect plus or minus 3 sigma 99.73. Now sigma level is 3. Success rate is 99.73. Now process capability ratio is 1. What is process capability ratio? CP. What is CP? USL minus LSL divided by UCL minus LCL. Distance between USL and LSL is equal to distance between UCL and LCL. Can you see that? USL is here,
Yes.
LSL is here. UCL is also at the same point. LCL is also at the same point of LSL. So USL minus LSL is equal to UCL minus LCL. So your process is just capable. CP equal to 1. So what is the formula for CP? USL minus LSL divided by UCL minus LCL. Am I right? This is known as process capability ratio. That process capability ratio CP is equal to 1. CP will be 1 when your process is just capable. For a 3 sigma process, the value of CP is equal to 1. Am I right? If CP becomes double, then sigma level will become 6. When sigma level is 3, CP, process capability ratio, CP is equal to 1. All right. So all of this we understood. So 3 sigma
We are
capability.
keeping the upper specification limit at 6 sigma.
Come again.
Sir, means we have to keep the upper specific limit at 6 sigma.
See here. In this condition, what is the sigma level?
3.
3 sigma.
3 sigma.
Your control limit is exactly overlapping on specification limit. Under this condition, your process is 3 sigma. If you want to 6 sigma, you should push your control limit further inside.
Sir, you cannot shift the specification limit, but you can shift the control limit.
You
have to squeeze the control limits within 1.
You don't have control over the specification limit. Please understand. Because it is decided by the customer. But you can always improve your process and try to bring the control limit inside.
You cannot change the parking wall, but you can change the car.
Yes, you can change the car, but can't change the parking, area. You similarly, you can't fix your door, but you can be mindful while ordering an item.
Right.
You order an item which is smaller than your door size. Otherwise, you will end up making a mess, right? The same thing. So improve your process and try to bring your control limit inside. In order to bring your control limit inside, the only possibility is sigma should go down. What is sigma? Variation. Reduce variation, make your process more and more consistent. Control limit will come towards the center. All right. But reality, in a long run, I already told you in long run how problem will happen, isn't it? Some new factor which was not considered at the time of designing the process is now playing. As a result, process is stretching outward and failure is much more than what is expected, right? And so we need to improve even beyond 3 sigma. 3 sigma capability is not enough. So you are improving. If you improve, you know what will happen? Control limit will come inside. Can you see the control limit coming inside? Control limit has come inside. And now, if I check, on this condition, if I check the process center and the nearest spec, how many sigmas are fitting here?
6.
6 sigmas. 6
Six
standard deviations. Now your G score has increased to 6. Your process is now doubly capable. Earlier, your salary was 1 lakh. Can I ask you what will be the average salary of the audience here? Tough question, right? Okay, 1 lakh. Let us assume 1 lakh.
1 lakh.
And now average salary is 1 lakh and monthly expense is also 1 lakh. That means the scenario is
Just capable.
just
Just
capable.
Just
You are
capable.
earning 1 lakh and your wife is spending all the 1 lakh. So you cannot be happy, isn't it? So you are trying to make more money. But how will you how to make more money? You know better than me, isn't it? So you are making more money and now you have made your life doubly capable. Even if salary is not credited on time, still you can run the show very comfortably, isn't it? Or otherwise, imagine a scenario, you are making 1 lakh, but the monthly expense is only 50,000. You have further cushion, isn't it? That cushion you are seeing here. The advantage of bringing the control limit inside is you will have an additional cushion. Even an external factor comes and play, or the known factor, you slightly lose the control. Then also this cushion can save you from customer complaint. Can you understand?
Yes.
This is what, this is how you must use statistics. In order to know the control limit, you have to use statistics. In order to calculate certain statistics, you need data. And the data should come from the process which is responsible for the failure, right? And then data should be clean and credible, accurate. Otherwise, all your judgment can go wrong, right? Your decision can go wrong. Now this process, we have made it doubly capable. Can you see that? We have made it doubly capable. When the process is doubly capable, the G score has become 6. And so the process is known as 6 sigma process. By pushing the control limit, you have converted your elephant into a giraffe.
Yes.
The shape of the histogram will change. The histogram will look narrower, can even grow taller in the center. Now the process, nickname of the process is giraffe process. We all need giraffes in our histogram, not elephants. Whenever you see elephants, yes, the risk is more. Whenever you see giraffe, now the chances of success will be very high. Now, what is the advantage of having a 6 sigma process or a doubly capable process? Your success rate is way higher than 99.73. Am I right? And the actual success rate now is 99.999%. 99.999%. In this condition, your process capability ratio is 2. CP equal to 2. What is the formula for CP? USL minus LSL divided by UCL minus LCL. Now, please write down all these values in a piece of paper. How much is your USL? 30. What is your LSL? 10. Can you write down all these values? USL equal to 30, LSL equal to 10. And UCL equal to 25. LCL equal to 15.
15.
Now, calculate the ratio. The difference between USL and LSL divided by difference between UCL and LCL. Because the formula for CP equal to USL minus LSL divided by UCL minus LCL. Now tell me what is the CP value you are getting?
2.
Process capability ratio is 2. Now what is the meaning of 2? You are doubling it. If CP becomes 3, you are triply capable. Your earning is 1 lakh, but monthly expense is only 33,000. Now you are much more capable. Right? So this is the kind of scenario you need to create. I think now the meaning is understood. Now the advantage with the Six Sigma process is, even if an unknown factor comes and play, that pushing your pushing your process towards right or left, then also can you see your control limit still staying inside?
Still staying.
Yes
Yes.
or no? So that is why, the rejections are very, very less. Now, a company believing in Six Sigma, or people who have the knowledge of Six Sigma, they will see any observation outside control limit as a failure. But for your customer, the failure is outside the specification. Am I right?
Specific.
Can you see a small tail of the wedge going beyond upper spec? This represents your 3.4 DPMO. Do you understand? Whatever red color you are seeing here, those are only failure for you. As a manager, you will question your team. But for your customer, that is not a failure. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anything happens here, you will definitely question your team. Hey, why are you producing here? Push it inside. But even these units are acceptable to your customer. So the rejection is seen only here. So now look at the process in my slide and tell me, is your histogram looking like a elephant or a giraffe?
Elephant.
It looks like an elephant. Okay. In terms of G-score, what is the G-score here?
3.
G-score 3. That means sigma level is 3.
3.
If sigma level is 3 or G-score is 3, what is the success probability?
1. CP1.
CP equal to 1. I agree. But now I am asking probability. What is the success rate?
95%.
99.73.
99.73.
But tell me, is this probability of success applicable for both short term and long term, or is it applicable only for short term?
Only for short.
Short term.
Very good. This understanding is very important. In long term, the 99.73 can drop to 90 also. We don't know. Right? So I improve. If I improve the process, then what happens? The control limit can come inside. As the control limit come inside, my process now looking like a not
Giraffe.
like a now it has become a giraffe.
Giraffe.
Very good. Now what is the G score now?
G score 6.
G score is 6. But I know as a professional, I know in a long term things can become worse than what I am seeing today. Am I right? So I know my G score is 6, but still I choose a G score of 4.5. I choose a G score of 4.5. You know why? Because in a long run, I have shown you my entire process can shift to the right or left. If my process shift to the right by some distance, it is statistically assumed that it can move by 1.5 sigma, not more than that. So I am subtracting 1.5 sigma and G score is considered to be 4.5, even though it is 6 at present. What is that I consider? 4.5 and calculate the success rate for 4.5, not for 6. The success rate for 4.5 is 99.999. So whatever success rate we say we believe for the 6 sigma capability is actually for a 4.5 sigma process. Because if a process is operating at a 6 sigma capability in short term, the same process will operate at 4.5 capability in the long term. Do you understand? Even after losing a small, a portion of the capability, still my remaining success rate is how much? 99.999%.
9%.
I am literally making failure impossible. Close to impossible, isn't it? The chances are very, very less. Like the number of aircraft crashings we see. We see sometimes, but then it is very, very rare. All right. So now coming to our process, the call taxi service. In the call taxi service, a car arriving beyond 30 minutes is the failure, isn't it? A car arriving before 10 minutes is not a failure. So your process is sensitive only on one side. That's called one-tailed process. One-sided tolerance, unilateral tolerance, right? Only one side it is sensitive, left side it is not sensitive. So the success rate is little higher than what we estimated, 99.999. So what is the exact success rate? 99.999, 666%. And so the remaining is the failure, which is 3.4 DPFO. Can you understand now how the 3.4 is coming? If you convert the number into 1 million, then 9,99,996 units will be accepted by the customer. How many units will be rejected? 3 or 4. This is what is 3.4 DPMO. This is the benchmark performance defined by Bill Smith and Dr. Michael Harry using their knowledge on normal distribution. Now you also gained the same knowledge. Now all of you are expected to act as Bill Smith and Michael Harry in your company. You'll grow very fast. But if it is a two-tailed process, means customer is sensitive at both sides. Sometimes, for example, dimensional requirements, surface finish, strength requirements, many areas that there is tolerance on both sides, isn't it? So in those areas, your success rate will be 99.999,320. That means DPMO will be 6.8. Hope it is understood, all of you?
Yes, clear.
I will also show the values in Minitab also after this session. Now, whenever you see your histogram like an elephant, you should immediately understand the variation is too much, right? You should immediately understand the capability is less. Under such situation, it is hard to produce output meeting customer requirement, right? Sigma levels can be low, yield can be low, but rejections can be high. Because your histogram is looking like an elephant. If you make the same histogram look like a giraffe, virtually everything you produce can fulfill the customer requirement. That means your sigma levels can be in the order of 4.5 to 6. 6 in the short term, 4.5 in the long term. As a result, the success rate is very, very high. The failure rate is very, very low. Now, all of you understand how to use the histogram now onwards. Histogram is one of the 7 basic quality control tools. The purpose is to understand what is your process center, what is the distribution of your process, and what is the range of your output. That is the questions histogram can answer. So this is called the Six Sigma way of problem solving. Six Sigma way of problem solving means everything is a data for me. I really don't worry what kind of company I'm working. Literally, I can walk inside any company and then I can help them improve on the quality, improve on the productivity, reduce the cost, reduce the lead time. All of these things are possible because I work with data. Am I right? Whether you are in a manufacturing company or in a service company, you pick up the right CTQs. Ask your people to provide you the right data. And then you clearly understand how are they performing. Give them the right decision, right guidance by making right decision using the data. And now, according to your guidance, definitely things will improve. And now you have done your job. Your role as a manager or a leader is really fulfilled. All that you need is the right quality of data. So this is called the Six Sigma way of problem solving. All other methods, will not let you know the amount of certainty and amount of uncertainty involved in your decision. Am I right? If you are not using data in this manner, you have no clue about the amount of certainty in your decision. What is certainty? The confidence level. And you will not know the amount of uncertainty. What is that? The margin of error. If you know the limitation in your decision and whatever you predict, that will take you close to reality. This is called Six Sigma way of problem solving, systematic way of problem solving, scientific way of problem solving. In my opinion, all other methods simply come under the conventional approach, which is trial and error. But here with the Six Sigma, you know what is the risk? People don't give right data. People don't know how to collect data. Data collection plan is very weak, isn't it? Under such situation, there will be challenges even in Six Sigma approach. But if you can plan and overcome all of these challenges, every single project can deliver the expected result. As a result, your company can now make more money in the form of revenue, in the form of profit, because cost of poor quality is brought down drastically. The chance of failure happening is reduced, and so failure will not happen. Isn't it? If you keep your vehicle always in a good running condition, the chances of failures are minimal, isn't it? That's what we are doing. So it decreases your cost because cost of poor quality is brought, below 1%. And resource utilization improves. Importantly, the people in your company become more and more knowledgeable, more and more skillful. Every single project they work in this manner, their level of intelligence can at least go, double the value. So every project lead to a lot of learning. So people become more and more effective, and this will spread as a culture, and slowly everyone in the organization will become more and more intelligent, more and more brilliant. So one day your organization not only have brilliant process, but also have brilliant people in the workplace, creating a very healthy scenario, isn't it? Your process is brilliant, your people also brilliant. So your company has to become number one. That is the advantage your company gets if it has right people and right process in place. So what is that we learned? Sigma level is a measure of process capability. Sigma level is nothing but G score. G score is nothing but the number of standard deviation that you can fit between the process center and the nearest specification. Whatever is your point of interest. From that point of interest, what is the distance of the process average in terms of number of standard deviation, right? That is called a sigma level. Specification limits are the tolerance limits provided by the customer. Control limits are the tolerance limits calculated using process data. A 3 sigma process is a just capable process, right? In which the success rate is 99.73. We also know that the 99.73 is short term only. Long term, it can be lower than 90, possible. But a Six Sigma process is a doubly capable process in which the success rate is 99.999. We also know that the 99.999 is not short term, it is actually long term. All right. So in a 3 Sigma process, the control limit will overlap. But in a Six Sigma process, the control limit will stay midway between process center and the spec, right? Giving you additional cushion. Even if something goes wrong, even if a new factor comes and affect your process, then also your process will remain capable. Higher the sigma level, higher will be the capability, lower will be the failure rate. Higher the sigma value. What is sigma? Standard deviation, variation, inconsistency, right? So if you allow the inconsistency to increase, your standard deviation will increase. As a result, failure rate will increase. That means your capability will go down if you see sigma increasing. Hope it is clearly understood, right? So any question? I am open to it. Otherwise, now there is a clear understanding on what is Six Sigma and how to use statistics for making effective decision. Good now?
Yeah. Sir, one